harmonic minor at this point. Because, like I said, listening to different Chopin stuff and who the fuck else? I don't know. A lot of gypsy jazz. They do a lot of harmonic minor stuff. So. Maybe in the transcription I'll show you what extra notes I'm playing, but a harmonic minor scale is the, if you don't know, it's kind of the Egyptian sounding scale. So I basically play it weird. So really cool scale for me. You can find its applications and, like I said, all that kind of stuff online. But a lot of metal people use that kind of stuff. So definitely cool stuff for that. So harmonic minor, and then a weird one, but I fucking love it, is the melodic minor. So I use that a lot, you know, with just weird. It's not like it's going to be obviously melodic minor, but it's you guys understand what, like, how to resolve chords? Like if you have a chord progression, that last one, 5, that's resolving into G. So it's a tension thing. And you get the resolution. With a lot of tension stuff, you can create your own weather especially in minor. So let's do a 2-5-1 in minor. So if we're so basically you have this, which is all in the key of A minor. I won't bore you. So we're in A minor right now. That's a minor 7 flat 5. Don't worry about that. That's just 2 A minor. And that's kind of a basic, I guess, melodic minor sort of thing, resolving back into minor. So kind of hear how it's got that jazzy sort of thing. But you can do, it's all about your application too. You can use that to where it doesn't have to sound loungy at all, you know, if you just want. I'm sure that sounded loungy, but if you turn on distortion, that would just fucking shred. So it's all about application. Yes, sir. Let me go through, let me get through 2 more seconds. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, it's good. Raise your hand when you start fucking thinking I need to shut up and answer some questions. But just more real fast to this point. So yeah, online it will tell you all about the different applications for this kind of stuff. It's really, really cool. So we got diatonic, major scales, and all the modes within. You can play scales within these scales as well. Does everybody know that? Scales within scales? It's all so much shit now. Basically, an A minor is the same thing as a G major. Same shit. So you learn the chord scales and all that kind of stuff. Same thing for every other scale. There's a chord that you can build off of the scales, and then scales you can build off of them too. But they're all the same notes. They're all plural, if you will. Having said that,
so I know you're harping on, I know you studied a lot of Chopin, and I think you mentioned Stravinsky in a couple interviews you did for Hail to the King and everything.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the songwriting process, if you had to pick one, what would you say? Would you either use your ear when you're figuring out ways to solo over these, different kinds of chords and modes, or do you abide by the rules of jazz and things you learned from Holzberg?
Ear all the time. That's how all that shit was invented, by somebody's ear. And then, oh, that's a scale. No, that came from somebody's fucking ear. They said, that sounds good to me. And then somebody called it a name. Hopefully they're collecting royalties in their grave from some of that shit. Probably not, some other asshole is. But it's definitely all about your ear and, yeah, beyond everything. Having said that, when you know a scale and you have kind of a broad understanding of those kind of things, it's very easy to facilitate. You don't wonder so much. It takes the wonder out of it, which seems like it can be a bad thing, but it just takes practice to not stay confined to what you know, and let it facilitate rather than hinder you.
Thank you.
Got it.
Did you learn all like the theory and shit and all that? Did you like get it from somebody else, or did you go and look for it yourself and find it, or like MI? How did that help you? Like, was MI a huge step in your,
MI is incredible. MI is absolutely incredible. If you're going to go there and do it right. I took the Encore program, which I'm not saying is the wrong program. That's just the program where you can walk in and do a bunch of shit. Anything you want, basically. It's not following a specific curriculum. You can walk in at 12 and leave at 12:30 if you want. And I kind of like that. So I went in there and I studied a lot of jazz and a lot of shit, but I read a lot of books. I was reading weird shit at that time, and I was just really trying to be, all things at once. And so figure out what your passion is, and when you go do a school like that, definitely buckle down and do that. Having said that, I learned my theory from like a very eclectic group of individuals and things. My father helped me learn a lot of cool songs. Like, he taught me Black Dog, much to his dismay. He wasn't happy when a 9-year-old son that's been playing guitar for 6 months wants to play Black Dog by Zeppelin. Okay, really? Sure you don't want to start off with a Beatles song or something like that? And there's just no way. So he helped me learn Stairway, all the first 10 songs I ever learned. My cousin helped me with the Greek modes, which is just the major scale. Confusing, but it's just and all the different modes and their relationship, which is very easy. It just relates to the one thing. And then MI definitely helped me a lot with listening to music and understanding what arpeggios do, understanding basically writing licks, the importance of listening to your ear. All the while you're learning all these kind of things, like the theoretical type stuff, but mainly, they're pushing you to write a lick that sounds better over like a chord progression. Instead of going, like, it's cool at first, you learn a diminished scale, oh my god, the diminished scale. But you want to do, and listen to your brain when you're doing that. And so they would say, you're playing a fucking scale, stop it. But great job, you know the scale very well, Cool, moving on. This brings me to my next scale. Can anybody guess what it is? The diminished scale. I don't know if that was the next one, but it is now. So a very cool scale, very much a big part of like classical music, huge in old school classical music, another cool thing in gypsy jazz. Big in fucking metal. So it's a cool passing tone chord. So sometimes you're in the key, you're in these normal keys, So let's just take a song like Nightmare or something. And then what does it do? So basically, when you're playing harmonic minor stuff, you can play a diminished. There's also passing chords. A lot of times, in a lot of classical music. So you'll have very common, like Bach-ish sort of, tons of that shit back then, and all that stuff. I mean, you can get more technical in what they're called, but if you so it's got a very classical thing, and then you can, let's just do this, why not? Do I have to leave this loud? Can I turn it down for public consumption?
Yeah.
But yeah, like. That type of stuff. So it's all simple. It's what they call a symmetrical scale. So it doesn't change across the whole board. Which you learn with. It's the same. Or is it? So definitely a very, very useful scale. You probably, does it sound familiar to any of you guys? Pretty familiar? Diminished is definitely really cool. Very kind of these neoclassical guys like Ingve and all that kind of those guys use it. It's big in gypsy jazz too. He does like Holdsworth would do something like that. Big string skips and string finger stretches. Stretch. I don't know what the fuck ever I just said 20 minutes ago. Big stretches. Very, very cool stuff to do. So yeah, diminished scale. What else? Is there another scale?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Look, you got a mic. Come.
How good are we on time?
Yeah, you're good.
And may I please have a water?
Yes.
Should I wait for the water?
No, go ahead.
No. I went to a conservatory for a year for classical guitar,
Cool.
and I had to analyze a bunch of stuff in theory and like just write endless amounts of notes and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you approach stuff adding like diminished like runs and stuff like you were playing, and like I heard the Picardy Third and Requiem off the new CD.
Yeah.
Like I try to do that sometimes, but I just can't pull it off. Like do you approach it in a certain way, or does it just happen?
Well, sometimes, I mean, we always try to stay very, or at least filter it out through us, but very much when you're listening to old chord progressions, I mean, especially if you're listening to the Baroque era, which is like Handel and Bach and those guys, it's very much, they were doing a lot of I can't tune a guitar. It really is a crazy thing. So a lot of those passing tones are definitely. So if you're writing stuff, thank you very much. It's not beer, my body wants to reject it. So basically in those, it's like you just, when you're writing those things, I wouldn't be afraid to listen to a lot of that kind of stuff. And if you hear a lot of consistencies and stuff, that means everybody's borrowing from everybody. And that's what's happening. Basically, you can't take Claire de Lune from Debussy, which is, oh, let me see. You may think that you'll know this. It's from Twilight. I hate to admit that. I liked it before Twilight. Whoops. Everybody kind of know that. So that's pretty much if you start doing that chord change. People are going to kind of think, okay, I mean, that one's taken. He brings up another good one that's not good to do. The kind of intense ballad with the string quartet has already been done. No more Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. Can't do that anymore. Certain things you just can't do. But all this shit that everybody in the world's doing. And in that are tons of places where you can fill in those things. All pertaining to your ear. It's good to know all those kind of things like form molder.